Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. I can't even make it a month without Russell Wilson news ruining my week, Perna. I don't know what's worse, though. The news that Russell Wilson's charity was mostly used to pay inflated salaries to employees, or learning that flag football in the Pro Bowl was Russell Wilson's idea. In my eyes, they've done equal damage to society. Today, we'll dive into that. I'll tell you how bad it really is. Roger Goodell says NFL officiating is better than ever. And Michael Irvin has been banned from covering the Super Bowl for some very vague reasons. Dear God, that's good sports. Please, with the NFL offseason approaching, I feel like my channel's dying, so subscribe here to help me. Today's episode is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. And for the big game, Underdog has an amazing offer for all new and existing customers. If you live in a qualifying state, for the Pick'em games, you get a special pick that includes Jalen Hurts higher than half of a total yard. A free square for one of your Pick'em entries during the big game. This will go live in the Pick'em lobby on today, the 9th, at 10 a.m. Eastern with a max entry of $20. Now there's all sorts of contests you can enter this week, including the big game battle royale, but I'd take advantage of the Jalen Hurts over a half yard in the big game that they're giving you in the Pick'em special. All you have to do is click my link below, use my code Thatsgood, and make your picks starting on today. With my code, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Now this week's winner for Best Storyteller goes to, surprise, LeGarrette Blount, who was on the Pat McAfee show talking about his time in New England and how Bill Belichick didn't care at all about calling Tom Brady out in the film room.
If you're the best quarterback, like all these people walk around sucking you off, you're this, that, and the other, there's 100 other football players and college guys, even high school guys, can hit this wide open guy on the throat.
I'll take hearing Belichick say suck off for 2,000, please.
Like all these people walk around sucking you off.
If they can make that an NFT, consider me a first-time aggressive buyer. I want the actual audio of Bill saying suck off to Tom Brady. Now, the NFL Network has banned Michael Irvin from covering the Super Bowl this week. Apparently, Irvin said something to a woman in his hotel lobby, and she made a complaint about it. Here's a video of Irvin, which is possibly evidence of what he said.
You don't want to fuck up our kids. Hey, don't fuck up. I got all this.
Amen.
Michael Irvin was also left in the dark about the situation and went on to 105.3 The Fan to see if the radio guys had answers for him.
You know, I went to a hotel and they said, well, the last night you walked in, you talked to somebody. I said, I didn't talk to anybody. I went straight to the room. And then they showed it on camera that I did talk to somebody. I talked to this girl for about a minute. I don't know what, they didn't show it to me. They told me, and I didn't see it. I don't know what she looked like or anything. But that's why they moved me. I thought you guys would have heard about it. That's why I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about it. But
now, we have no idea what the woman complained about. We don't know if this is the interaction that generated a complaint, but this situation is weird, especially for Michael Irvin, who once stabbed a teammate with scissors for taking his spot in the barber's chair. I can't imagine how he assumes he did anything wrong. Now, the guy who posted the video alluded to the idea that they didn't see Irvin do anything wrong. It looks like he's just trying to tell a story that he thinks is cool, maybe hoping to impress the two women in the background here. He says fuck a couple times and then definitely scares the guy who is secretly recording him. Oh, and also he admits he may have been very drunk when this happened.
Here, it was a minute meeting somewhere in the lobby. In the lobby, I don't even remember it really because a few drinks to tell you the truth. You know, I had a few drinks to tell you the truth. I don't really remember it, but
now every year during Super Bowl week, Roger Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, answers questions about the state of the league. Here's Goodell giving his thoughts about how awesome of a job NFL officials are doing.
I think for us, when you look at officiating, I don't think it's ever been better in the league.
Did he just say the state of officiating has never been better?
I don't think it's ever been better in the league.
Yes, he did. Also, according to the commissioner, egg prices have never been lower, crypto has never been more valuable, and Russell Wilson has never been closer to winning an MVP than he was this last season. Oh shit, that last one might technically be true since he's never gotten an MVP vote.
There are over 42,000 plays in a season. Multiple infractions could occur on any play. Take that out and extrapolate that. That's hundreds, if not millions, of potential fouls. And our officials do an extraordinary job of getting those. Are there mistakes in the context of that? Yes. They are not perfect, and officiating never will. But we've also had, obviously, replay and other aspects that help us address those issues to make sure they're not something that we can't correct on the field.
And he goes on to reference the AFC Championship game when the Chiefs got that do-over play. He says,
communications between our office, that is not the case. In the championship game, that was stopped appropriately because the clock was running by an official on the field. That happens frequently in our game. That's not an unusual thing to have that happen.
That does not happen all the time, Roger. That almost never happens. Teams rarely, very rarely run a full play only to then get a do-over because the officials didn't get the clock right and nobody heard a whistle blow. You never see two teams assume that the play is finished, send out their special teams units only to have them waved off the field to redo a play everyone thought already happened. Then to see the do-over play penalized and a first down awarded to the team that got a fifth down, okay? He also said multiple infractions could occur on any play, which is true, but I don't like that way of thinking. That's the kind of thinking that leads to games being over-officiated. He referenced that we on TV have access to replays, angles, and slow motion that the officials on the field do not have, and that could distort our perception of a play. I also agree with that, but the single biggest issue that I cannot understand is why they have not fixed this by simply having an official in the booth at the game who has access to all of those angles and replays in real time, who is able to communicate directly to the refs on the field when they make a mistake. I know, they have a team in New York or whatever, but I want someone at the game whose sole job is to tell the officiating crew to pick up a bad flag. The NFL needs less penalties, more accurate calls, and a guy to wave off plays like the Chris Jones hit on Derek Carr, the Grady Jarrett hit on Tom Brady from this last season. A ref on the field does see things differently. Their job is hard, so why not make it easier instead of saying all of us fans watching the game simply don't have the facts? We'll never know, but here we are. How bad is the Russell Wilson charity? After filling you in on the criticism of the Why Not You Foundation, I will rank Russ's charity on the official charity scam scale. He can receive a score of 10 out of 10, which is a perfect score. That's as close to an honorable charity as you can get, like Feeding America, which was ranked as the best charity by Forbes magazine. Or he can get a 1 out of 10 for worst charity, matching the Brett Favre state-sponsored charity programs. Now, at the crux of this controversy is the amount of money the charity raises versus the amount that actually goes to charitable causes. The problem, according to a USA Today report, is that just 24.3 cents of every dollar is spent on charitable activities. That is indeed low compared to very reputable charities. But what's alarming is the fact that nearly double of what goes to charity is spent on employee salaries, and there aren't a lot of employees. Just 3 to be exact. Now, using the 2020 data from Russ's charity, the foundation reported $1.2 million in expenses, including employee salaries of $209,000, $166,000, and $66,000. Chief Strategy Officer Ryan Tarpley was paid that $209,000, but also worked for Russ and Ciara's family office, which means he could have been getting paid out of the charity's funds for other work he was doing, which is illegal. Now, the numbers were slightly better for the charity in 2021, with 27.2 cents of every dollar going to charitable activities, but 2 of the above-mentioned employees got raises. The 2020 numbers are sticking out because that's the year Russell Wilson won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and this certainly puts a stain on that. It is fair to keep in mind that Russ and Ciara put in time. They put in real time in terms of showing up, supporting the kids at the Children's Hospital every week. Very few people of their stature are that active. And I think it's fair to mention that again while this is being criticized. The complexity of this thing is confusing as fuck, so I nearly broke my brain trying to dumb this shit down. Here's the problem. If Russell Wilson has trouble seeing KJ Hamler this wide open, how are we supposed to expect him to see when the people running his charity may be taking advantage of him? Now, while there are dozens and dozens of examples of people running charitable organizations making 6-figure salaries, these ones are egregious based on the amount of money being raised relative to their salaries. Russ's guy, Ryan Tarpley, was paid more than double the median CEO or executive director, who typically makes around $107,000. As you can see, over time, the foundation kind of peaked at 2018 and then got worse at raising money as their expenses got higher. Now, I am all for employees working for charitable organizations or foundations getting paid fairly. What we don't know from this situation is how much work these high-priced employees were putting into the foundation, but it seems too high. Here's a good example. I raised money for the Alzheimer's Association, which I will be doing again during my Super Bowl live stream on Sunday. There's also a link below. My sister worked there for several years as a full-time employee, so I know firsthand all of the work she put into that job. I know how many people's lives were positively affected because of her direct work and dedication. That's an example that shows why a person's salary is hard to equate in terms of its direct effect on a charity. I personally know my sister was also underpaid for what she contributed, but that's the deal she was willing to take because she was working for a company doing good things for a cause that was important to her and important to our family. It's hard to compare Russ's charity to one like that because the Alzheimer's Association raises hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars every year. The first page of their annual report shows 79% of all money raised goes to care, support, research, awareness, and advocacy. Russ's number on that chart would be 24%. So again, not good. If you want to check on a charity, go to the Better Business Bureau Wise Giving Alliance to check their accreditation and see if they meet standards. To save face, Russ's charity needs to drastically cut those employees' salaries. It's simple. I'm assuming Russ started this charity with good intentions. But if you don't have the time for proper oversight of your foundation, then find different ways to contribute the money you want to raise. Von Miller's charity, for example, Von's Vision, which is well known here in Denver, contributed 71% of money raised directly to charity. He uses contractors to get the work done, not employees. The Denver Broncos Team Foundation uses team employees to contribute small amounts of time to the charity, but none of them are paid for that work, and 92% goes directly to the charity. Peyton Manning's Payback Foundation has a 98% rate of money going directly back to charity. So again, I think Russ has been taken advantage of or just doesn't understand how this shit should work. So is this bad? Yeah. And I looked, believe me, I looked for ways to defend Russell Wilson here, and I just really couldn't find any good reason to do so, because when people give their money to a charity, they assume that money is going to help the people they're signing up to help. And when a small portion is only going to the charitable cause, it's fucked up. So my official conclusion, Russ's charity receives a 3.5 on the scam scale. Not great, but it's better than the 2 to Favre, which means full-blown deception. His charity falls in the 3.1 to 6, which is negligence or lack of attention to detail. The employees working to raise and distribute money should be paid proportionately to their work and contribution. If Russ had paid closer attention to detail, this would have never been an issue, but again, Russ has never been great with the details, has he? And the biggest issue is when you make as much money as Russell Wilson does, and everybody knows how much money he makes, you can't miss on things like this. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Again, I'll be live during the Super Bowl, live streaming. We're going to be raising money for the Alzheimer's Association. And should have maybe another video coming up this week. We'll see.